This segment is brought to you by Rouse's Markets. Feels like home.
Everybody, welcome back into Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. October 18th, Saturday, Acadia Fest will happen again in Thibodaux. Big group of folks that are going to play in that, and we're going to talk a little bit about it here today, and some extra stuff that's going on. Tommy Meyer is the founder of the Ben Meyer Foundation Acadia Music Fest, so thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks
we
for
have
having
Shannon
us.
Grow and Cam Mobile. You might have heard of these two guys, but former district attorney, and Shannon's a forensic interviewer with the Children's Advocacy Program. Let's bring it all together.
Absolutely.
Tommy, and tell me about, first of all, the festival.
Yeah.
It looks like another good lineup. I see T.I. down at the bottom of that group, so I'll
Pretty
be
excited.
interested to see him. So
Yep.
tell me about it.
Yeah, so Harry, we started this about 10 years ago. It's hard to believe, like you were talking about,
know.
time flies by. And we did it to honor the memory of my little brother, Ben Meyer, who was a Nichols student who passed away in a car accident. What we wanted to try to do was bring top-notch quality acts to Thibodaux, while at the same time providing a family-friendly event, and then also giving back to the community, which was very important to us. So all of those kind of go in line with the values of my little brother, Ben.
Yeah, awesome. Like I say, over the years, we've had some great people,
Yeah.
being out of St. Louis.
I know, right?
And I know you've seen some of those acts that have been here.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
So anyway, the tradition continues, and that's a good group. How you get a guy like T.I. to come down to Thibodaux?
You pay him. No,
He's a capitalist,
I'm
right?
gonna tell you this. It's become a pretty awesome situation. So you've been in media a long time, so you know how it works, right? And these agents are seeking us out now. They know that we run a quality show. We don't spare any expenses. While we don't do this at full time, we're financial advisors by nature. Our whole office commits to making this a premier event, and so these agents seek us out to try to get their acts onto our bill. And so we've been pretty blessed.
Okay, so every year you have somebody who benefits from this. Tell me about
Absolutely.
this year's.
So again, it's always trying to align with the values of my little brother Ben, who was also a Taekwondo instructor, who was with Cam's brother, Jim. They did a lot of work together. But anyway, we try to find a group that embodies that. And this year, we chose originally the Child Advocacy Center of Lafourche, and we knew that was a dynamic place to be. And then all of a sudden you tag one of my very special friends, Camille Morvant, to that, and it's a no-brainer. Mm-hmm. And so this year we are like beyond proud to be a part and see what the kind of work that they've done, that Cam has started, that Christine has continued, and that Shannon runs and handles. It's absolutely, like, our whole group is super fired up about this.
Right. And guys, appreciate y'all being here. But Cam, I'll start with you. This has been your thing since you started doing DA work.
Yes, it has. I started back in 1982 and did my first prosecution involving a child victim in 1984. And then it's been a long run. And we were able to get the Advocacy Center started up after I got elected district attorney. And a lot of the credit goes to Christine, to Shannon, to people like Leslie, and who have been with it, for so long and keep it going. And I'm gonna let Shannon kind of explain exactly how the facility runs. But I want to thank Tommy, my good friend, because it's like everything else. Like he says, the performers are not coming without money. The center cannot run without money.
Right.
It needs it needs funds to keep going, and it's nonprofit. We're not going out and have a fund coming in. We don't have any general fund. We don't have any public funds coming in. So when somebody like Tommy comes along and says, we want to help you guys out, we want to help keep the center open, because Shannon has some numbers that are both impressive and depressing.
Right.
That's the way I describe the numbers of what the center does and what it's done over the years. And so, again, with Tommy, and he's right, I was able to meet some of the folks that work with him on this project, and all of them are like him. They're all professional. They want this to work, and everybody works together. And I was very impressed with the people that I've come into contact with that are going to put this event on. And we're happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And before we send them, go over to Shannon. Tell me about how important he is to have an investigator like that.
Super important. When I was doing prosecution, if a child disclosed that's something horrific, and many times it's just indescribable what happens to some of these children, where they would be maybe interviewed by a teacher at school or by a counselor at school, then they would call a police officer over, and the police officer would interview the child, and then it would be sent to the detective division, and the detective would interview the child. They'd be brought to the hospital if there was necessary to do some forensic workup, medical workup on the child. The nurse would interview the child, the intake nurse, then the doctor would interview the child. And I had a saying that I used: by the time they got to me, they were interviewed out. It was so traumatic. So I ran into a lot of difficulty in prosecuting those cases for the 20 years almost I did it before I became district attorney. And I saw a need for a child advocacy center, where now the children are brought within so many hours after what's called disclosure. And Shannon is an expert in the field of forensic interviewing of children. And so Shannon does the interview. The interview is taped. The interview is shared sometimes with the defense attorney.
Yeah, it's a video.
It can sometimes, right, it can sometimes be used in court proceedings. And so that has been a tool that has been just invaluable. And what it does, it takes out all the people who, lack of a better way of putting it, were not experienced in interviewing children in situations like this. So now you have an expert who has done that, because ultimately, on all sides, we want to get down to what the truth is. So you want someone who does this for a living and who knows how to interview children in those situations, and he does a phenomenal job. I was the nuts and bolts of got the building and got it started when I got elected, but the running of it over the years, the credit goes a lot to Christine, a lot to Shannon, and a lot of other people who've just been involved in keeping this thing going. Yeah. And again, I'll let him talk about some of the numbers, and it is depressing. I don't think a lot of people understand, unfortunately, to how many children go through things like this. It's a huge number.
No, unbelievable. We're going to take a break. We'll get back to Shannon. We'll go right back right here on Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by Rouse's Markets. Feels like home.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Bayou Time. Harry McCullough here. We're talking about Acadia Fest. It'll be happening on Saturday, October 18th. This is the lineup, great lineup of bands that'll be happening. Of course, there's so much more that goes along with Acadia Fest. The big blow up things, the food, the music, all of it's, a regular festival. It's going to happen. It's right outside of Percy Brown Road off Acadia subdivision where it's going to happen. They also have tickets that you can get involved, advance tickets at $70 or $90 at the gate. And there's plenty of other stuff that goes with it, but it goes with a great benefactor this year, and that is the Child Advocacy Center. We're talking with Shannon, well, of course, Cam and Tommy. But Shannon, tell me about, we said there's some unfortunate statistics that go along with this and how important it is to have a center like this.
Well, the center itself opened its doors 20 years ago. And what the center does is that, like Mr. Cam said, it interviews children who have disclosed some type of abuse, maybe witnessed a traumatic event, murder, domestic violence, those types of things. So since the door's been open, as of today's interview numbers, it's been 3,772 children have been interviewed at the center. Wow. With the need to realize that forensic interviews is just a part of the process, we moved from our old facility, with the original facility that was downtown, to our new facility about 4 years ago. Right when COVID hit, we bought our new building with the intent to expand and add on a therapeutic component. And we were able to finally get that established in 2023. And since then, we have the council on staff has conducted 451 sessions with children in that room through the process. So just when you look at those numbers, her numbers are going to catch up, because I might see a child once, but she's seeing them weekly, monthly, and on whatever schedule fits that child at that point.
But to dovetail on what Cam was saying earlier, so the child can get interviewed out. You do it one time, you videotape it, you can use it in court?
That's the importance of what we do, as opposed to a police officer who may arrive on scene, or a detective gets that initial field interview. The purpose is to minimize the amount of times. We understand that children are going to talk about it because they have to disclose to somebody. That's how this whole process gets going. And then law enforcement has to do what we call a needs assessment. And that's very minimal information. That's just determining if the child needs a medical exam, if there's evidence that needs to be recovered. But to get all the meat and potatoes, I guess, of the interview, that's the whole purpose of coming to the center to do that expanded interview. Because we utilize the multidisciplinary team approach, where law enforcement, and if it's a case where Department of Child and Family Services is involved, they actually come to the center at the time of the interview, and we interview it as like a team. I'm in the room with the child alone, but I wear a little earpiece in my ear, and detectives monitor that interview. They're the ones that are at the scene. I'm not. I don't conduct any investigation beyond this. Just a very small role in it, but it is the beginning aspect of that investigation. It is audio and videotaped, and law enforcement leaves with a copy of it. It does become evidence. The DVD, and I'm sure Mr. Kim can explain more on the legal side of it, but my DVD can get played in court later on down the road, as long as I follow all the rules of the state of Louisiana.
Which is so important. And to have a good investigator, interviewer, makes the case, right?
Yes, it did when I was doing it the old way. and when I cherished the ones who were good at it and knew how to deal with children and knew it was a different situation than dealing with somebody who's the victim of a burglary or theft or something like
Right.
that. And so, you get somebody like Shannon who's trained in doing that and has the expertise in it. And he's also, part of what he's doing, he wants to make sure that he's getting to the truth.
Right.
This is not just tell me
On both
anything you
sides, right,
want. And
sure.
we want to make sure that the truth comes out and, on this. I mean, that's something that, again, that he is trained to do. He knows the right questions. He doesn't do the leading questions and all the other things
Right.
that other people were not trained to do.
Because that's part of, see people unfortunately coached as well. And
Yes.
those kinds, so you can get on both sides. Tommy, so let's bring it all together, and how does this work with you guys?
Yeah, so what we've set out to do from day one is just give a good family experience to the community of Thibodaux. And the businesses in Thibodaux, have supported us tremendously. We couldn't do it without the community, and it gets bigger every year. Being able to, when you buy a ticket or you sponsor, you come in, you're having a great event. You're seeing top-notch acts like T.I., Allman Betts Band, those different types of artists, John Morgan, but you're also helping to support something that's much needed in our community. And so I always say that most of us don't really know about this. We because our children may be fortunate enough, blessed enough not to have to deal with this. But knowing what Cam was able to start and what Christine has taken the ball and run with, and Shannon's done, it makes you feel a little bit better about what you're doing when you put on Acadia Music Fest and know that you're supporting a group like this.
Yeah. Hey, let's run through that, Jason, one more time if we can. The Music Fest, of course, there's the lineup. And then you can buy your tickets online or in advance, or you can buy a tent,
You can buy
right?
it. Yep, you can. Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Sometimes it's hot in Louisiana.
Yeah, so yeah, you can be like a VIP and watch T.I. sing about being a VIP. Bottles
That's exactly right.
full above. So awesome, man. Well, guys, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Man, have great weather. It's the best
Yeah.
weather of all time in October.
doubt.
And guys, the Advocacy Center is just unbelievable. Thank you guys for
Thank you, Harry.
being part of our community. But thank
Yep.
you.
Thanks, Harry.
All right, we'll be right back with more Bayou Time right after this.
This segment was brought to you by Barker Honda. It's better at Barker.